Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. There is nearly 500 of you in the building. Apparently you can hear me, but you can't see me. Well, you can see me now. Hope you're all doing really well, everybody. It's a bit dark in this room, apologies. It is just what it is. It's that time of night. I've just finished work. A lot of you in the building for this one. Make sure you're getting your comments in. This is more going to be a Q&A, everybody. The Ben Brereton Diaz news is that apparently Everton and Bournemouth have entered the race, but earlier on Leeds United allegedly, according to two reports from quite frivolous networks, that's what I will say, you can find them yourself and I won't name them, but apparently Leeds made an approach earlier on in the window for Ben Brereton Diaz, and we are apparently monitoring the progress of that one. Now this would align with exactly what Fabrizio Romano was talking about on his live broadcast on his live YouTube channel yesterday, when he was essentially saying that Leeds United are monitoring the market and we are going to be waiting for certain opportunities to crop up, like we did with Rafinha previously and like we have done with Dan James in the past as well. What do you think about that one, guys? Are you sort of intrigued by that one? Are you thinking to yourself that is the right way of going forward? Fabrizio also went on to say that Kai Wagner has not moved for Leeds United. The Fabrizio Romano YouTube channel is where he said this, essentially describing Kai Wagner as one that hasn't moved, and Leeds are looking at him, but that one is still almost just going as it is, you know, steady progress. Apparently Kai Wagner does want to leave the MLS and is looking for a move to the Premier League. Obviously this is the teammate of Paxton Aronson, Brendan's brother, at Philadelphia Union, but nothing is set in stone for Kai Wagner right as of yet. But what the transfer guru did tell us, he actually did mention this as well. He said that Willie Noto was going to be the one who Leeds might make an approach for towards the back end of the window. It's an opportunistic market, as Fabrizio kept speaking on, saying that Leeds will only move if they see a real bargain. But he also did say, which I found quite interesting, that Leeds will really only move if there is one to leave Leeds United. Now, presumably, if Willie Noto is to come in, someone who's broken into the Italian first team, he will want a guaranteed first team place, really. And when I say first team place, I don't mean the starting 11, but he'll want, you know, the first 16, 17. He won't want to be put in the under 21s. So that's the sort of reading between the lines of what Fabrizio was talking about there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm really interested to see this. Can't see anything by Fabrizio Connor. That is because it is on his YouTube channel, Gil. It is not on, it won't be on his Twitter account or anything like that. You'll be able to see it on the One Leeds Fan Channel Twitter site. If you want to go and have a look at that, it was retweeted on social media. I made sure that I got it out there for you guys, but it's an interesting update. It's nothing that we didn't really already know. It's interesting that these other two sites have come out today and said that Leeds have made an approach earlier on in the window for Ben Brereton Diaz. Do I believe that? No, absolutely not, and that is why we are here with the rumour mill, because this isn't me coming on and saying these things are going to happen, guys. These are essentially just outlets which are reporting things. It can be just agent chat as well. It does look like apparently Everton and Bournemouth are hotting up that race for Ben Brereton Diaz. But would you want Leeds to make that move? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Justin's in the building says, smash that like. Noto, methinks, says Gail. What's your opinion on Sonny Perkins, Connor? Love the vids. Keep them up, pal. Thank you. Theo, top man. Really appreciate that, mate. What's my opinions on him? There's nothing that I've seen of him as of yet. I mean, obviously, we watched the game the other day, the Norwich City game. He looked decent. That just looked like a keep ball exercise between Click, Forshaw, and some of the senior pros, to be quite honest with you. But he looks decent. One that is really impressing me at the minute is Matteo Joseph, and that's another thing when you're talking about Willie Noto. He's going to be coming in and potentially blocking the likes of Sonny Perkins, you know, the likes of Matteo Joseph if he is to come in. So he's clearly way ahead in terms of his development, already breaking into the Italian squad. Apparently there's numerous clubs looking at him, so it would clearly be a coup for Leeds United. But do we need that player right now, or do we need a player that is going to be able to fit in and replace Patrick Bamford and replace our left back when the time is right? Would love Ismail Assar, Guerrero news. That is Guerrero, obviously, who is at Dortmund. There's a lot of chat at the minute about apparently Leeds United looking at him. Obviously, the Portuguese international. I don't think that is going to happen. I don't see that one coming. To be quite honest with you, that's what I'm talking about with the room mill. Everybody, I'm going to give you my honest opinion as well. Connor says, Hill, hi Ethan, how do we know that Noto is ready for the Premier League? I presume is what you're saying there, buddy. I don't think that he is. I mean, we don't know. He's only 18 years of age. He's probably got the right attributes to fit into the Premier League, and that's probably why they're looking at him. You got to look at the risk versus reward there as well, Ethan. He's only going to be 4 to 5 million quid. That's it. Now, is that enough to be able to fill the boots of Patrick Bamford, fill the boots of Joe Gelhardt when they're not going to be fit? What did we also hear from the Fabrizio Romano YouTube clip as well? He said apparently, and this is what we learned already from the Andrea Radrizzani interview as well, that Leeds are very, very happy with their transfer window. Very, very happy. And nothing else is advanced. Now, I only have issue with that in 2 positions, as you guys quite rightly know. If I'm being greedy, I'll say 3 positions. But overall, I think Leeds have done all right in the window. But I am a little bit nervous. I am a little bit nervous to say, Patrick Bamford has been very, very managed. And that's what I will say into this season. You always hear about Jesse Marsch talking about how they are trying to do the right things to get Patrick fit. Now, going into a season where we have marginally avoided relegation last season, marginally avoided absolute cataclysmic catastrophes, Leeds United need to mitigate against this. And the simple way you can do that is by bringing in a forward and bringing in a left back, obviously, which is the other critical issue. Waiting for news that Bamford and Joffrey be out on Sunday. Let's hope not, mate. Forest are showing proper gonads and getting it done. Where are we in reality just monitoring and doing that? I get what you mean, mate. I get what you mean. What I will say about Nottingham Forest is it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've referenced Nottingham Forest several times. I think they've brought some excellent ball carriers in. You look at Mangala, you look at Lewis O'Brien. Obviously, they've already got Brennan Johnson, who's an incredible ball carrier. You look at OR as well, who's going to be coming in. Did I just mention OR? I'm not 100% sure. No, I didn't. Lewis O'Brien, Mangala, OR in the midfield. That is, they're literally looking at 16, 17 new signings, Nottingham Forest. I do think that certain bits of business that they've done have been very, very shrewd, very, very intelligent. Jesse Lingard, another excellent ball carrier. The reason I mention ball carriers is because when teams in the Premier League press high, which most teams in the Premier League do, being able to carry the ball through those midfield phases is very, very advantageous and is going to progress your team up the pitch. That's probably what I thought Leeds United lacked before we brought in someone like Brendan Aronson, before we brought someone in like Mark Rocker, who I think, when they are pressed, are able to still carry the ball. But Nottingham Forest have done that. They've identified where the Premier League can be very, very tough, which I do like. Now, those transitional elements of bringing in another, 16, 17 players, which it looks like they're going to do, is going to be very difficult to integrate into a new system. How do I compare that with Leeds United? Well, would I have wanted Leeds United to go out there and get Emmanuel Dennis? Yes. Would I have wanted Leeds to go out there and probably get Jesse Lingard? I could have definitely been persuaded. Did I want Leeds United to go out there and get Lewis O'Brien? Yes. Did I want Leeds to go out there and maybe even have had a backup option in someone like Harry Toffolo, who was in Championship Team of the Year last season who was very gettable as a rotation option or whatever? Yes. So a lot of these options that they have brought in, I would have accepted at Leeds United. Now, on the contrary to that, what I think Leeds have done is actually really good. I do think what Leeds have done is really good. I've mentioned this several times before. If Leeds were to include another 2 bodies, maximum 3, but 2 bodies I'll be okay with. 2 bodies, I would be extremely happy, and I would see this window as an overriding success. But at the minute, when you have 2 gaping holes, and when you've gone into a Premier League weekend last season and already seen the warning signs, which we did last weekend against Southampton, that's where you've got to make alterations. That's where you've got to be proactive. And if you're not doing those things, if you're happy with the squad, if you're happy with everything that's going on, maybe you're going to be right. Maybe you're going to be proven right. But there is still going to be a bit of scepticism there. There is still going to be a bit of margin for error. And I think that's where Leeds lie at the minute. Let's have a look. Forest 2004 Mark II Leeds. Anti Tomo says, I think Forest were doing well in the window, but perhaps brought in more than they should now. Will take a long time for them to click. I agree, Anti Tomo, and not just that, mate, but in the unlikelihood that I think Nottingham Forest will go down, because I think they've got a lot to their arsenal now. They've got a lot of feathers to the bow. If they were to go down, that would be hell on earth for Nottingham Forest. It really, really would. I don't think they will. Although a lot of people are sort of referencing the West Ham game and saying, well, they got a win against West Ham. They were thoroughly battered against West Ham. That is one of the most one-sided games I've ever seen in my life. Listen, it's not to throw shade. I don't mind Nottingham Forest at all, but that is not going to be a marker. That's not going to be a benchmark of Nottingham Forest staying up. Grinding out the wins definitely will be, but those performances will catch up with you, and you need the players that have come into the side to be able to transition exceptionally quickly, like we've seen with us and Sinisterra, but the pressure isn't on Leeds as much, and I mentioned Sinisterra just because we haven't seen enough of him yet. The pressure on Leeds isn't as much because we've already got players who've played in the Premier League before. Burry says, can't believe Nunes has gone to Wolves. Too good for them. Yeah, 42 million. What a signing that's going to be, mate. What a signing. Nottingham Forest go down. They won't be in a bad position with all the new players expecting Premier League. The thing is, Dylan, a lot of those players who go down with them, if they were to go down, will not be sticking around, and they might not be able to shift them as well if they've had a bad season. You know, you can have a bad season in the Premier League, go down, and then you might not get a move. You know, look at a few of the Burnley players that have been mentioned on here. Ian's in the building with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. I know these sort of streams will be seen in different time zones right now. Obviously, it's 8:30 English time, so I know it'll be early morning wherever you are, mate, probably. How awesome would it be, says JZH. If Rod has kept his form, he's done it before. Now it's time to do it again. JZH, when was that, mate? For Leeds, is that he's done it before? Is that the consistency? Kept his form? I think with Rodrigo, I've only really seen it over 5 or 6 games, mate. I need to see Rodrigo. I need to see the £30 million striker / central attacking midfield hybrid really up his performances this year. And I'm not just talking about goals and assists. I'm talking about pressing. I'm talking about running back. I'm talking about really influencing games. I'm talking about keeping the ball. I'm talking about those progressive balls being accurate. There are so many elements and fragments of Rodrigo's game that have got to not only just be consistent, but they've got to improve. They have to improve from last season. They have to improve from from the tenure at Leeds United. Really, for me, overall, it hasn't been good enough. Great start to the season, but can he keep it up? That's my question. A few people did back him towards the back end of last season. 12 games under Jesse Marsh. For me, in about 45% of those games, he was very, very good. Or very good, I'll say. The rest of them, in my opinion, he went missing a little bit. And we need to see that consistency, especially everybody. If we're not going to be signing a striker, if we're going to be relying on Joe Gelhardt and Patrick Bamford, because Rodrigo is going to have to slot in, because those two are going to pick up consistent injuries, as we know. Alfie says, I think we should go for a cup run this year. Can't deny with that, mate. Isaac says, do you think Meslier will leave in the coming seasons? Isaac, I probably would say yes. I think he's a very sellable asset, and if the chairman does keep quoting Leicester, the Leicester model, which he does, I do think Leeds are going to have to do that. He was quite right in what he said, Andrea Radrizzani, when he said, look, when we've come up to the Premier League, we've outlaid 260 million, which is fantastic. I don't think the recruitment team have done expertly well in terms of distributing that 260 million. But what he has said is we've only sold, really, one of our massive assets this season. And he's quite right. Normally, you do see promoted teams selling players on almost straight away, especially if a big club comes in. Leeds have been able to stave off that interest. However, now they've got rid of Rafinha. Now they've got rid of Calvin Phillips. The next ones in line for me are probably going to be, when you look at it, Ilan Meslier and Joe Gelhardt. If Gelhardt is able to get 10 goals this season and, does incredibly well in the Premier League and it really is showing those dazzling performances, which he did last season, is able to keep fit for maybe 85, 90% of the season, then it is probably going to be, one of those conveyor belts of certain individuals going out. I do think that's the Leicester model, right? That's how it has been. Mahrez, Kante, Maguire, that's how it has been at Leicester. So if the chairman is referencing that model, that will probably happen. Now, what you would hope with Leeds United is we'd bring in a more than adequate replacement for Meslier, who I do think will go in the next 2 or 3 years. Spurs are apparently already sniffing around. There's going to be a Hugo Lloris link there, obviously, with the French national side. Then, you look at Joe Gelhardt as well, and you do bring these players in. Leeds are not naive. They'll be thinking to themselves, well, these are sellable assets. They obviously are sellable assets to the club now. So as long as we retain a decent value for those players, I've got absolutely no problem with that. Unfortunately, that is the football life. Football is life. Wow, I didn't even mean to do that. Well played, mate. Get Luke Thomas in on loan. Hi, Connor, says Russ. Hello, mate. Bring cancel. Oh God, don't think so, mate. Leicester kept Kasper Schmeichel through the club's growth. Was he that great to be sold on, though, mate? Was he great? Was he that good? Was he that exceptional to sell on? I'm not sure he ever was. Get Ronaldo. He wants a fresh start. Absolutely not. I'd drive him back. Keep getting your comments in, everybody. Kim's in the building. Hi, mate. I know a good housekeeper if you need tidying up of wire scarves and other things, Connor. Get yourself over here, Kim. I could do with that, mate. And just, if you want to tidy my room, mate, I'd appreciate that. Miles says, will getting spanked by Chelsea mean the board take action? Equals no. Look at last season. They haven't learned their lesson by replacing what we have sold. Yeah, I think to that extent, I mean, you look at the net spend, and the net spend hasn't been great. There's absolutely no way around that. I mean, I actually think today I'm going to put it on the One Leeds Twitter account, so you guys make sure you go over and follow that. But I think we have a net spend of around 11 to 15 million quid. Is that right? I'm pretty sure it is. Let me just have a quick look again at this graphic that I sent myself today, which I actually saw a City fan tweet out. Leeds are in the net spend positive, which is great to see. I'll have to put that out on the Twitter. But Leeds basically haven't spent as much when it comes to net spend, when you take into equation all the instalments that we've sold players on for, etc., etc. However, I do think Leeds have recruited well. I really do think we've recruited well. You look at a lot of the other recruitment that other teams have done, and I think the primary objective for Leeds is to make 10th to 14th, which I think is highly ambitious with this current makeup, but I think it's enough to keep us up. And with my expectations as a fan, I've always said that I want Leeds to hit those upper echelons. I want us to do it quickly. We're a massive club with a massive fan base, huge foundations, but I think we need more depth in the squad. I think we need more quality in the squad. So me going into this season, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, with the additions we've got, it's definitely, in my opinion, not good enough to be reaching where Radrizzani thinks we will finish. But in my opinion, it's good enough to keep us up. Even if we don't bring in a striker, even if we don't bring in a left back, I think Leeds have got enough to keep us in the Premier League, which is where my expectations are at right now. I want Leeds to be able to solidify again this season. I think it's, in my head anyway, it's a realistic approach. And then next season, I want to see more investment. I want to see more circulation. I want to see more regeneration of the squad. And that is where you start looking up, in my opinion. I don't think right now, I think there's been a little bit of a transition. I think there's going to be a little bit of a feeling out phase of Rafinha going out and these players going in and having to replace his output. I think that's going to be too great, in my opinion, for Leeds United to really sustain and grow and jump essentially 7 places, really, which is where Radrizzani said he would look at Leeds finishing, 10th being the optimum. Let's have a look. Loads of your comments coming in. Keep them coming in, everybody. Wearing the green, yeah. Loving the American themed t-shirt. I didn't even mean it, Manjeet. Didn't even mean it. Wriggler says, I really appreciate this, mate. It's quite nice when you hear people who never comment. It's always crazy because you always see the same names who comment. And I know a lot of you guys are watching now, but you always see the same names comment, which is amazing. I absolutely love that because that's how I literally do live streams. It's responding to your guys' comments, having a discussion board, a forum. But you never really, people, straight, some names just don't come out of the woodwork on the comment section. And Wriggler's one of them. Always watch but never comment. Thank you for doing so, mate. I think we're on the same wavelength when it comes to opinions, Connor. I think we'll get one more signing left back. It'd be nice, pal. It really would be nice as getting another one in. I think it'd definitely elevate the squad. And as I've said a million times, mate, I've said this a million times. I think 1 or 2 signings brings Leeds up to that upper echelon in terms of when you look at 9th to 16th. It's a really, really small bracket in quality. However, even from 9th to 16th, I do think there is an upper bracket of quality and there is a lower bracket of quality. Maybe when you're looking at probably Brighton, I'd say they're probably more towards the upper echelon of that. Maybe Wolverhampton Wanderers, maybe towards the upper echelon of that, especially after the 2 signings this week. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a little bit of a sort of table there. But 2 more signings for Leeds United, as Wolves have proved this week, definitely pushes you up in that little bracket. So I'd be more than willing to go on record if Leeds brought in 2 good players in those positions and say, look, I think Leeds will finish 11th, 12th. That's what I believe. So that's all. I'm not asking for the world. I'm really not. I just want Leeds to fill the voids, fill the problem areas, and for me that would be very advantageous for Leeds during the season. Jake says, wonder if we'll see future plans for Ellen Road in the near future, seeing as it'll be our third season in the Prem. Hopefully the finances are all there to start in the next 2 to 4 years. I think Angus has mentioned this, to be honest, pal. I think Angus has said that it's going to be in year 2023 or something. That's when they're going to start looking at it and maybe start putting plans into place. But how they're going to have to do it is, I mean, obviously they're not going to move. They're not going to move that site. So they're going to have to build on Ellen Road, which is going to be, it's almost more complicated. Obviously, Liverpool have done it. Spurs moved away, didn't they? But apparently when you're actually planning on that site, it makes it way more complicated. So there's going to be a lot of things to get through there. And I might have grey hair before Leeds get a 55,000 capacity stadium. Miles says, current squad, Hart and Viduka top 12. Maybe, mate. I never thought Ian Hart could defend, though. Never thought Ian Hart could defend. I will never have a bad word said about the Duke. Not a bad word on this channel. Not a bad word. Terry's in the building and says, I think after last season, if the board don't bring in a striker and left back, it's pure negligence. Can't disagree. Liam Dyke, hi Liam. Although we need both, would you take a striker or a left back? Great question. God, what a great question that is. Left back. And let me tell you why, Liam. I would take a left back because worst case scenario, Paddy and Gelhardt are out. You've probably still got competent players who can play there. Competent is the word I use. I don't say quality, I say competent, who can at least fit in the system and help Leeds offensively. You look at Sinistera, who's played up front before. Jack Harrison's played as a false nine before. Dan James has played as a false nine before. Rodrigo, obviously. Greenwood's played up there before. So it's competent players to be able to still impact the system. And we're still going to be able to maybe hit those players and bring other players into the equation who are going to be able to get goals as well. Now, that would still be hugely problematic for Leeds United. We saw that towards the end of last season. The left back, in fact, I'll open it up to everybody here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Left back or striker? I think, and obviously goals are absolutely huge, aren't they, in the Premier League? But you're hoping maybe Rodrigo can slot into that as the primary substitute for Gelhardt and Bamford. We won't miss him in any other area. He's a notorious number 9, allegedly, for Spain and Valencia. So him going up there would definitely fill that gap, hopefully, especially if he's to improve. Left back's huge. Left back in the Premier League is huge. Left back and right back, which is why people are looking at Rasmus at the minute, because at the weekend Leeds had the most successful dribbles against them in the Premier League, and so far the 2 games Leeds have played, opposition teams have had the most successful dribbles against Leeds United than any other team in the Premier League. That is massive. That's a big thing to take into consideration, and they are getting a lot of the joy from the wings, as we've seen. So it's going to be 1v1 defending, Rasmus up against whoever, and Firpo against whoever. I don't think Firpo's anywhere near good enough. That's my personal point of view. A lot of people, because he's played well against Blackpool, will say that he's going to do well this season. I simply don't see that. I don't think he's a good enough footballer for the Premier League. I don't think his spatial awareness is anywhere near good enough. His body position is all off. He's ill-disciplined. He picks up injuries. So overall, when I'm looking at the left-back package of Junior Firpo, I'm thinking to myself, we need 2 left-backs in. I'm saying at the start of the window, we need someone to be able to cover the left-back that we're bringing in, and then Junior Firpo is going to be sold. That's not happened. Jesse Marsh wants to put his faith into Junior Firpo, which I will say I massively respect, and I will also say I hope he proves me wrong. As I say with every single Leeds United player, I want to be fair. But the left back position is huge in the Premier League because you have to be able to bomb on forward, and not only that, but you have to be able to defend against the best wingers in the world. The best wingers in the world. We've seen Rasmus already be burnt by Gineppo, and Neto. Neto, hands up, fair play. But Gineppo is nowhere near the standard of winger that he's going to be facing. That's going to be the exact same on the other side. So I think left back for me, mate. We need new owners, says Chris. Check my Patreon video, mate. I did one on Radrizzani today. Nick, do you think Dallas will be used as our backup left back? I hope not, mate. Really hope not. Really hope not. It's got to end at some point, hasn't it? It's got to end at some point. When is it going to end? Dallas at left back. He's not a left back. We love him, but he's not a left back. I think the best option now for Stewie is going to be on the bench, and I think he'll be an unbelievable bench option. Probably the best bench option we've got in terms of just coming in and doing a 7.5, 8.5 job every single week. James Milner-esque. I think that is where Dallas's place is now. If we're still putting him in Premier League, listen, we know what Stu will do. He'll come back in and have some solid performances, and then everyone will be like, that's our answer. That's our answer. But it's recency bias. When you're looking at the long-term project, when we're talking about Europe, we're talking about top 10, Stuart Dallas, a right-footed, notorious winger, that's what we bought him as, who was then moulded into a central midfielder where he was good and has then been moulded into a left back, is not the way forward. Leeds need to be setting these targets higher. We have to be. And if we're not, which I don't think we will, that is why my position where I think Leeds will finish is where it is, because I think this is what we're going to go into the season with. Not giving Rasmus much time. I am, Gail, and everybody. Please don't start. And I'm not accusing you of anything here, but I've said numerous times, if I've called something out, I've always said afterwards, always say afterwards, I am not bashing Rasmus. I'm not bashing him. I am full supporting him. I'm fully supporting him, I should say. And I also said on the debrief the other day, I also said this. This is not anybody judging him after 2 games. It's not. It's almost everybody just turning around and saying he has to adapt quickly. And that's not me saying that he won't adapt quickly at all. That's me just saying he has to adapt quickly. Sorry, Gail, I have to address this. I'm getting people tell me. Someone called me out on Twitter the other day and said, lol at Connor having to go at Radrizzani's predictions of 10th to 14th when he said Leeds will finish 14th. Where have I ever said Leeds will finish 14th? So you have to address this, Gail, because people will just twist your comments when you've never said it. So, I am criticising Rasmus to an extent, but everybody knows he has to adapt quicker. He's not been good enough in these first 2 games. He hasn't. I'm going to call it out, but I'm 100% supporting him and 100% giving him time. Bit late to the party, but yes, Connor, hello, mate. Hope you're all right. Dallas is a squad player, says Charlie. Can't deny that. Ice Bailey says new owners, bring back Bates. Oh, mate. I've done it. Listen, I've done a video on it, mate. People disrespect Radrizzani so much. Where are my notes? I did a Patreon video today. If you want to check it out, it's Conor McGilligan having a rant about people's disrespect on Radrizzani. And you guys know I'm not like that. You guys know I'm not. I rarely break my silence about Andrea Radrizzani, but just look at where we were. If you're a recent fan post 2017, you are lucky. You are so lucky. The doldrums that Leeds were in when I was growing up, the depressing state of affairs at Leeds United before this guy came in, Gerald Krasner, Birch, John McKenzie, Peter Ridsdale, Ken Bates, Massimo Cellino, GFH. Everybody who is going online and slacking Radrizzani off, give your heads a wobble. This is a guy who in August 2017, said, I have a 5-year plan of getting Leeds United to the Premier League. Objective, bang. You know what I mean? Come on. Oh God, don't get me started on Bates. Don't get me started on these owners. As I said, I've done it. I have done it on the previous shows. Don't worry. On the Patreon, flipping it. Can't believe you're wearing a Wolves top too, Connor. Yeah, that's it. Craig says, don't get all the negativity on Rasmus. He looks awesome. A warrior. There's no negativity. We're just saying he can improve. That's it. Everybody, stop getting personal. Flipping heck. We're not having to go at him. Smash a like, says Justin, always in the building and looking for people to smash a like on the videos. Really appreciate that, mate. Jake says, nice to see Bogus training. Probably won't see the light of the first team, but I would love for him to be given a chance. Forest owner will be Ridsdale soon, mate. Ridsdale. Oh, man. The man who ruined Leeds United. Just sometimes I just think Leeds fans, we're actually in a stable place now. A stable, happy place. We're in the green. We're in a good place. We're in the Premier League. Imagine this 6 years ago. Imagine this 10 years ago. I wouldn't have believed it. Just wouldn't have believed it. I actually thought in my lifetime, because it was so poisonous supporting this club and because we had mercenaries everywhere, I genuinely thought I would never actually see Leeds in the Premier League. You know, when people talk about, in my lifetime we'll win an FA Cup, in my lifetime we'll win the Premier League. In my lifetime I was thinking, I'd said to my old man, I don't know if you're going to see Leeds in the Premier League again. That's how bad it was. So yeah, man, flipping heck, it was bad. Let's have a look. Ace Ball says, Connor, someone said earlier that you know Charlie Taylor and he didn't refuse to play for Leeds. True. Yes, true. That's all I'll say. But I'm not allowed to say that because everyone loves Gary Monk. Let's have a look what some of you guys are saying. Chelino, his packed lunch policies. Don't forget about the pasta, mate. Don't forget about the pasta. Don't forget about the pasta, him making that before the games. Hating the number 17. Absolutely detesting the colour purple. Saying that women don't have a rightful place in football. Saying that they should be at beauticians and they shouldn't be playing the game. Absolutely wrecking Leeds United's academy. Going on air and slagging off manager after manager and player after player. The guy was a disgrace, but people just lol at Chelino now because it's good. The guy was an absolute joke. So flipping it, yeah. Wish I had Twitter for the Chelino years. You don't, mate. Trust me. Twitter. You think Twitter's bad now? My God. Cause obviously I didn't do any of the YouTube stuff, the Twitter stuff, but I just have a Twitter account. I think I had about 10 followers, and I just keep it. I wouldn't tweet anything, which I know you guys can't believe now. But I wouldn't tweet anything. I'd just monitor it. That those years were awful. Anytime Phil put out a tweet, bang. Bang, bang, bang. You just couldn't. And it was depressing supporting Leeds. It really was. Nobody knows what is included in certain players' contract. Wouldn't be surprised me if Junior Firpo wanted assurances he'd be first choice left back. Can't disagree, Ryan. Yep, can't disagree. And when you come from a club like Real Betis, he obviously to Barcelona, then Barcelona, he's at such a high profile at the time. They weren't going through the monetary problems. So yeah, he'll have thought Leeds United, okay, yeah, I can go there and demand certain things. And obviously he'll have a decent agent as well. So yeah, 100% it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, everybody, I've been talking about Chelino, I've been talking about Ken Bates, I've been talking about loads of other things. Antonucci, I did like Antonucci, but then he was part of the Sick Note 6, wasn't he? The Sick Note 6. But yeah, as you can see, guys, notes made on the owners. So if you want to go over there and check out my thoughts on Radrizzani and why I fully support him, why I've criticised him, but I will always praise him because he's brought the good times back to my life, the club that I love and would die for, which kills me. I would, unfortunately. Leeds United is my life. It's quite sad. But yeah, he's brought me back. He's brought everything back to me by bringing back Leeds United, by giving me Marcelo Bielsa, by giving me the good times. So you'll never really see me. I'll criticise his decisions. I'll criticise him in the January window. I'll criticise him now for not bringing in players. But overall, for what he's done for Leeds United, I'd never hound him out. I'd never want him gone. I'd never be saying, Rad, you need to leave now. No chance. No chance. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see and go on with what we find out. Sorry guys, I'm getting asked to kick people out, but the comments are moving massive. We've got like 1,000 people in the building. Incredible. Again, guys, it's nearly 9 o'clock. I'm going to go have some food because I finish work at 8 o'clock. If you would do me a solid, please make sure you like the video. It just shows up in the algorithm for all your family and friends who maybe don't know what One Leeds is. We're trying to grow the channel. I am doing it all by myself, so I really appreciate any support. Doing this sort of stuff, it can be taxing, but I absolutely love it. I love interacting with you guys. I love been on this forum. I love you guys being here. So please make sure you're liking the video. Please make sure you subscribed as well. There's loads of you who aren't subscribed. There's like 30% of you who aren't. Make sure you do me a solid and hit the subscribe button. We're back tomorrow morning with a live rumour mill. I'm trying to do the lives because I want to interact with you guys a little bit more. It means they're a little bit longer as well. I know you guys like the longer format. Some people like the shorter format, but I think the majority of you like the longer format. If you want to give me an opinion on that, get in the comment section below. Really appreciate your support as always, guys, and I'll be back tomorrow, mate. See you later.